Alright, great. Welcome back. So this video we're going to look at students entering a university, another value stream map. Okay? Now I've left most of the boxes up because you've already watched the other two examples. Okay? So here's another way to look at it. We've already got our process set up. So we can start off with our customer, the student. We say student and they enroll online. Okay? Enroll online, I've just drawn the little arrow to show that. Okay? So let's think about what a student process at a university looks like. Well, I guess you could say that they need to enroll in first year classes. In fact, you could do this first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Okay? So how long does it take to finish the 8 to 10 classes for the first year? It's kind of a misnomer. It should take 1 year. Okay, 1 year to finish the first year. Well, instead of 1 hour down here, we'll say 1 year. And I can say in 1 year, I can get 800 students through. Okay? We can look at our error rate and we say, you know what? It's so easy to have first year classes. We just hire adjuncts, part-time professors to teach those beginner classes. So we're going to get 0% error rate. We're going to get every single student through that first year. We know that for a fact. Okay? And then we say, you know what happens the second year? How long does it take students on average to get? Well, they can't quite get all of their classes in, and this kind of becomes a problem. And so let's say the second year takes actually on average 2.5 years to finish the second year. Or excuse me, let me grab my rag. How 2.5 years for the second year? That's really not good. But let's say it takes 1.5 years. Okay, because students are having a little bit of trouble getting the classes they need. It's not good. Okay? So again, 1 year down here. Actually, let me switch that around. So in 1 year, they're going to finish about 2/3 of their classes, keeping the math a little easier. And you know what? We had some students drop out too. So we got 700. And you know what? Also, because we're having trouble, some of the students don't maybe pass their classes, and the error rate kind of jumps from 0% to 5%. Actually, let's make it a little higher. Students freak out the second year of college, and the error rate comes to 25%. Okay. Third year, what winds up happening, students are doing internships and all sorts of other stuff, and they only get about half of that year done in a year. Okay? The error rate, it starts jumping because students get distracted with their internships and other things, and that comes up to 50%. Volumes, more students have dropped out. Then we look at the fourth year, it's really hard to get all those fourth year classes in. And we only get 1/4 of them done. The volume drops again. And the error rate, well, the students that do get the classes done, maybe they finish everything on time. If they get in the class, they actually do it right. Okay? And that's 1 year. Yeah, I realize these are unrealistic numbers. I'm saying it's going to take 4 years to finish that last year. This is just to illustrate the diagram. Okay? And then, of course, what we do is at the end, we start with the basic student, and we move towards the advanced student. We put graduate. And they've graduated. Okay? So then what you got to look here. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this process is totally out of whack. Well, let's look at the waiting time, too. Well, because of the nature of a university, I'm not going to do any waiting time here. I'm having a little bit of hard time conceiving how there's waiting time between these periods. So I'm just going to do 0. Okay? And we add it up. Okay? How much value added time goes in here? Well, there's different ways you could calculate. You could actually just add them up 4 years like that. Or if you're interested in the average graduation rate, what do we have? That's going to be 4 years, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7 2/3? No, 7 1/3 years. Okay? Give or take, right? There's some variation in the process. So you said, man, we want everybody out in 4 years. Remember our quality thing in our SciPoc? And we're getting what? students out in a little more than 7 years. But you know, that's terrible. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we need to do way better than that. Okay? Heck. Let's even say there's some hidden weighting in there. Let's say it's 8. That's too long. Okay? Make the math easy. Okay. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 years. This math is getting worse and worse the more I start looking at this university and this VSM. Okay, so it's taken 9 years. And you know what? The president of the university, who's been doing some supervising, says, hey, this is terrible. The little glasses. President of the university says, oh my goodness, I've been checking things out. All our processes are terrible. I'm going to overpay you to be a consultant. I don't want you to tell me how do we get our students out, not in 9 years, but in 4 years, right? And how do we, what do we got to do? Because our university is not going to make it, right? We're losing money. Well, the first thing I would tell you, president of the university, is look at this error rate in the 3rd year. Students are not coming back. Students are failing in their classes 50% of the time. That's terrible. Now, you're probably thinking, but wait a second, if the error rate is 25%, 700 to 600 shouldn't it be 25% less? 600, 50% shouldn't you only have 300 in the final class? Yes, but let's assume there's transfer students or something else like that, okay? So let's not worry about that. But if you notice that and you thought about that, you were thinking in the right direction. So I'd say, you know what, president of the university, this error rate of 50%, this is terrible. We need to focus on helping our 3rd year students get to that 4th year and keep them from dropping out. Okay? That's one way of looking at it. And as I'm thinking about it, I might take a non-traditional approach in this case. The traditional Lean Six Sigma approach would say you focus on the highest error rates, so get this 50% down to 0 and get this 25% down to 0 first. But you know what? As I mentioned, students aren't necessarily getting into the classes that they need. Okay? That's a problem. So what I might say instead is try to expand the number of instructors for this 4th, half, and 4th. So if it's taken 4 years to get through that final senior year because you don't have enough instructors to teach the senior classes, let's focus on this first. Let's get this. Let's double our resources so we can get this to half. Okay? Let's focus our money there. Let's hire some experienced instructors, some great faculty, or let's do some rebalancing. Maybe some of the faculty are teaching the freshmen. Maybe they can start teaching seniors, and then we can hire some new faculty to teach those easy freshman classes. We can figure something out. We want to get that as close to half as possible. Once we get that as close to half as possible, then we got to start looking. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. We got a volume of 700, volume of 600, and volume of 500. Remember, these are all assessments. There's no right or wrong answer here per se. Well, if I've got 700 students taking 2 years to finish 1 year, or I've got 600 students taking 2 years to finish that 3rd year, what might I do? Well, I would probably try to make sure that as many of these 700 students had the best opportunities possible. So I would invest in faculty here to try to get this PT rate as close to 1 as possible. Okay, that's probably where I would go. And then I do the same thing here. Okay, and then I'd make another round here to get this as close to 1 as possible. Again, you want to get all of your process as close to evenly balanced as possible. That's probably what I would do. I could see you making an argument, though, saying, well, these are juniors, we've already invested so much in them, or they're transfer students, let's focus our efforts on getting them out first, or maybe let's focus all of our effort on getting seniors out first so we can draw transfer students in from community colleges that maybe already have 3 years of credit. Let's make ourselves an attractive investment to get seniors out on time. I could see you making that argument. But again, we're looking at this more from a traditional process perspective, so we try to get, enough instructors so that everybody who wanted to take classes could get every single year of college done in 1 year, not 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, so then what we would do, then we'd start focusing on the error rate. Why are there so many third-year students who are flunking their classes? Let's try to make that better, okay? Get that as close to 25% as possible. And then if I were a university administrator, yeah, what I would say is try to get this as close to 0 as possible first, because that way you can retain students better. That's probably how I would look at it, and then you get this as close to 0 as well. So that's how you would look at it from something that really is totally service-oriented. But this, again, it's showing bottlenecks. This is a process that's inbounds. For some reason, you hired way too many instructors to teach first-year students, and you didn't have enough to get seniors out the door. Okay? And then you had all these other problems in the second and third year. So that's probably how I would do it. I hope this example is helpful. If it is, make sure you give me a like. That's a thumbs up. Comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Awesome. I'll see you in my next video.